Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about the most recent album to be released by Vince Staples, entitled Ramona Park Broke My Heart. This is the latest full-length album to be released by the Long Beach native. He's been growing gradually as an artist as his career advances, and it's very organic. And I think that this album here is some of his most solid work yet. This also happens to be the first musician that I'm reviewing twice. This is the first time I'm reviewing another project to be released consecutively since I first began doing this on YouTube. So I'm excited to continue writing and talking about music. And I just want to take the time to thank folks for supporting me, for listening to me, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this album is a total of 16 tracks. It's sitting close to a runtime of about 40 minutes. I'll be giving my highlights, try to keep things brief and concise, track by track, starting with the first track entitled The Beach. With this album opener, where the listener is greeted by sounds of the ocean, lazy chords that sound slightly detuned. It's very calm. There's no percussive elements on this song either, which is notable. Here, Vince speaks on how everyone has their place in life, everyone has their role that they play, and Vince briefly touches on his own experiences growing up in Long Beach. I think it's summed up best when he says, trying to make it to the top, we can't take everybody with us, we can't get everybody rich, we can't fuck everybody bitches. Moving on to track number 2, entitled A, for the homies. The instrumental here is easygoing, featuring subtle hi-hats, snaps for the snares, mellow keyboards, and a hi-fi type synth bass line as well. It's not the only song on this album that features an instrumental like this. Vince's rapping here is very laid back and it sounds effortless. And thematically, Vince describes his pain, his desires, and the lifestyle that he was born into. The sample used for the intro highlights this well, as it says, "If everybody stopped so much hurt, stopped so much anger they hoard, we done lost a gang of homeboys, a lot of people, a lot of my friends hurt, nobody's got a lot of anger in here, so first thing we gon' snap at it." Moving on to track number 3, entitled DJ Quick. This instrumental features thick kick drums, sprinkler-type hi-hats, and interesting snares and a quiet keyboard. All of these coming together to form the instrumental of the song. It reminds me a lot of lo-fi hip-hop, except on this song the drums have a larger and heavier presence. I also enjoyed the sample that we hear during the intro and the outro of the track as well. It's a tasteful sampling of the song Dollars and Cents by DJ Quick. Thematically, Vince touches on how much importance money can have. He also describes how much of a role money plays in his own life, as well as the role that it plays in the lives of people around him. As Vince puts it at the end of the first verse, all the pressure I be dealing with still ain't ever change. I'm about the money, I ain't fucking with the fame. He repeatedly in interviews, if you've ever listened to him talk, highlights how he doesn't really care for fame, being well known. He really is just about his business and nothing more. He's just doing his job. Moving on to track number 4, entitled Magic, with Mustard, featuring DJ Mustard. This song features hazy synth chords and a crispy beat that is in DJ Mustard's signature style. The instrumental just oozes his style all over. Here, Vince speaks on his work ethic and his growth as a person. He describes what life was like for him during his youth, growing up around gang activity, and coming to see how it was affecting his perspective and goals. He's kind of reflecting a little bit here. When reminiscing on his life when he was younger, Vince explains, "That's old news, spreading love now, sick of police lights, sick of gun sounds." He's about his business and doing his best to eliminate distractions. I love the quotable line, "Hands full so I can't hold grudges," that Vince sprinkles in there at one point. DJ Mustard also makes a vocal cameo during the outro as he offers some insight for their collective perspective. He opens up by explaining, "See, when you come from nothing, make it into something, I call that luck. But when you come from where we come from, I call that magic." I think that they just kind of seal the deal in the song. They really drive the point home. And thus explaining the title of the song. Moving on to track number 5, entitled Nameless. This is an introspective interlude that's woven into the album to act as a smooth sonic segue into the following track. The sample plays out like an interview, in which we can hear a speaker describing how one can grow accustomed to murder and how increased exposure to violence can change the way you view the very nature of violence. Um, in this perspective, violence can play a very functional role in people's lives. It becomes just an everyday part of survival on a daily basis, really. Moving on to track number 6, entitled When Sparks Fly. This song features an interesting use of reverb on the drums, and I love the vocal sample that we hear on the track as well. Off first listen, I knew that this song was probably going to be one of the more popular songs to come from this album. This unique approach to the production creates a very dreamy soundscape, and on here, Vince's vocals are what keep the listener grounded, which is important. I think the lyrical content, in any Vince Staples song really, but on this one in particular, is really, really important. Here, Vince raps from the perspective of a guy and his gun. He uses his specific word choice to evoke feelings of romance in this relationship that Vince is describing between this guy and his gun. Vince describes an inseparable bond between them, but eventually their escapades catch up to them. The guy ends up getting locked up, and for once they're both separated. In the end, the gun grows conflicted about the situation, but concludes, "Still here I am, waiting around, dreaming that you're coming home. Right your wrongs, take me out. I can't wait until you bust it down, probably go 100 rounds." He personifies the gun in a very interesting way, and it took a couple of listenings for me to even pick up on that there. I thought that was really cool. Moving on to track number 7, entitled East Point Prayer, featuring Lil Baby. The instrumental on this song consists of a steady and slower paced beat, keyboard, and an interesting sound that I can't really pinpoint. It feels kind of like chopped up and distorted vocals, but it also could easily be a synth of some kind. But it sounds good. I like it. Here we have a solid feature from Lil Baby, and he matches Vince's energy very well. Thematically, it feels like they're speaking from the perspective of someone who may have gotten caught up with the wrong folks. For example, we can hear this when Vince says, "Lick a gunshot, bloodshot corneas. I've been out all night trying to make it out. Swear to God that the set was the safest route, and what they about." It's clear that there's a lot of unanswered questions that our speaker has, and Lil Baby's feature seems to offer some resolution in the form of goals and aspirations. In an interview, Vince spoke on how the collab came to be, explaining that it just felt right to have Baby on this song. And apparently Lil Baby did the feature completely free of charge, and he's a solid guy for that. Just goes to show his work ethic, as Lil Baby was ready to do a feature as soon as he was approached about it. He didn't even need to go into depth and get to talking with Vince. He just said, "I'll do it." Moving on to track number 8, entitled Slide. This is an easygoing instrumental featuring quiet and muffled synth chords and keyboard with relaxed programmed drums to keep the song moving. It's kind of like music for a forest in a Pokemon game, if you want to think about it that way. Lyrically, it's a simple song about gang activity. My favorite lines come in during the second verse. "I love my mama because she did her best. I feel Nirvana when I'm in the set. We see who pop it on the internet, catch one, it's a bet." The outro of the song features samples of fireworks, and the song fades out as we hear a crowd cheering. With that, we transition into track number 9, entitled Paper Cuts. The sampled vocal refrain creates the foundation for this instrumental, and I especially love the light synth that plays a melody throughout the instrumental. It kind of feels like a flute in a way. It's subtle and it's beautiful. The programmed drums are soft on the ears, and they guide the groove of the song. Here, Vince takes the time to reiterate that he operates on a strict schedule. He's got tunnel vision and little time for things that aren't contributing to his growth and his success. The hook highlights this perfectly as he raps, "If it ain't about bread, I don't give a fuck." Moving on to track number 10, entitled Lemonade, featuring Ty Dolla $ign. The instrumental features a hazy synth pad and relaxed programmed drums. I love the choice of hi-hats and rides. It feels very nostalgic to me. And thematically, this song feels like an ode to relief and perseverance. Life can throw a lot of things at you fast, and if you're not ready, it can break your spirit. It has the capability to do that. Here, Vince explains his perspective during the last verse. Heavy stepping if I want to get to heaven. I'm going to have to hit the gate, did too many 211s. Trying to break that bank like schoolboy said. Won't stop till the whole hood fed on my granny grave. The hook also highlights this explicitly when they repeat, feeling like ice cold lemonade, nowhere to go when we in the shade, nowhere to go when we in a cage, sometimes life tastes bittersweet. Moving on to track number 11, entitled Player Ways. This is a cool and laid back tune featuring more of those hazy pads and a beautiful vocal sample. On this song, Vince speaks on his mindset when it comes to romance and relationships. He touches on what it's like to be involved with someone and knowing that the relationship just isn't built to last. Vince sums it up best on the hook. My conscience blinded, I be trying to fuck the pain away. I have no time to wind it down, I gotta run the streets. And then he continues, she don't want nothing but a little company, and that's enough for me. Sometimes people use intimacy as a way to cope with their troubles, and while it is an unhealthy thing to do, an unhealthy practice, some just find a way to make it work for them, especially when you find a partner that feels and thinks the same way. It becomes a weird, distorted form of a symbiotic relationship. Track number 12, entitled Mama's Boy. The instrumental here features a sparkly synth, subtle horn samples that sound really good. On this song, Vince seems to compare his unchanging love for his mother to the love that he has for his lifestyle. As Vince explains in the second verse, glory to God, answered my mama in prayers. I got my weight up, working my way up. Now I don't go lest they pay us. Money ain't everything, but I promise it helped the pain. It's, again, another perfect symbiotic relationship, one where your lifestyle and grind can bring you enough to give back to your mom. And it's a beautiful thing. I personally aspire to do the exact same thing. Moving on to track number 13, entitled Bang That, featuring DJ Mustard once again. There's a very beautiful tonality in the chords of this song, and the timbre that we hear on the chords feels hollow, so it creates an interesting mood. The drums are full of movement, and I'm a fan of the kick drum. It's got some sizzle to it, but it's also extra dry, which is perfect because it complements the background music. Thematically, the song sounds like maybe a coming-of-age story for someone who grew up around gang activity and was looking forward to joining once they were old enough to join. Vince takes the time to highlight what life was like as a youth coming up in Long Beach. My favorite bars appear during the bridge where he raps, I love the money, she more than a friend. Never forget how the story began. Real as they come, I don't gotta pretend. Live by the gun, die by the sand. I love the imagery that he uses here. Track 14, entitled The Spirit of Monster Cody. This is another brief interlude, this time featuring a noisy instrumental and a sample, a vocal sample. Here we hear Cody Scott explaining how he overcame obstacles in his life in order to write a book and just kept pushing despite adversity. He sums that fighting spirit up very well when he says, motherfuckers rebelling against the system, and that's thug shit. Track 15, the track number 14 bleeds into 15 perfectly, and it's entitled Rose Street. This song features sparkly chords, airy pads, and a bunch of crispy short drum samples that fill the soundscape of the song. Thematically, this feels like a love song, despite Vince claiming that it's not right at the intro of the song. He says later in the song, you can't have my heart, but I promise you'll be in my thoughts. We can't go on dates unless I bring what keep me safe. Here he's alluding to his gun. It's clear that he cares about this person, and she cares about him, as he continues by saying, pray you don't use me, baby. Pray they don't shoot me, baby. Only way you'll lose me, I've been feeling loopy lately. He won't admit it, but he does care for her, and the reason he won't admit it in this song is understood to be the dangers that are surrounding him on a daily basis. In turn, as a defense mechanism, there's no claims about love, any mention of love really, but it's an attempt at protecting each other's emotions by keeping things open-ended and ambiguous, maybe to avoid the pain of losing each other potentially in the future. And with that, we transition into track number 16, the album closer entitled The Blues. This is a very serene instrumental featuring a sliding guitar melody and calm chords. And the lack of drums here also echoes the intro song, as we only have Vince's vocals to offer the listener some sense of groove and movement. Lyrically, this is a melancholic conclusion as Vince speaks from the perspective of someone that's locked up and has a little hope for getting out. It may be a literal or metaphorical prison that he describes here. It's really up to the listener to interpret. And the three choruses on the song are distinct as Vince takes the time to explain different elements of his downfall, of this downfall. In the first chorus, he repeats the line, "Money made me numb." Here he's referring to how obtaining money caused him to grow numb to a life of pain and a life of crime. In the second chorus, he repeats the line, "Waiting till the Lord allows it." Here he's referring to his hope that one day he finds peace within himself or just peace in general. And then lastly, he repeats the line, "Pray for me," in the last chorus, referring to his loved ones as maybe the only form of support that they can offer him at this point, being more in a spiritual nature. And in the end of the song, we hear sounds of the ocean, and we close out with just sounds of the ocean and waves, a sonic callback to the intro of the album. It's a very beautiful way to kind of sonically wrap things up and add a sense of conclusion, an end, really, a definitive end. Overall, I think that this was a very calm and thought-provoking album. Vince tackles different themes that are present in his life, that have been present in his life, and themes that are present in the lives of folks that surround him in his own life now. Vince, in the past, has brought listeners high energy, crazy bangers, and this album feels like a return to form where he takes a more calm and calculated approach to the music itself. It comes together in a very cohesive way, and I think that the change of pace, the different beat selections, it's all sure to put new listeners onto his music. In the past, I know that other listeners have almost made complaints to Vince Staples, claiming that his music in the past has been leaning too far into the electronic influence, and it turned a lot of listeners off from his sound. But I think that the sound that he presents on this album is a refining of a project that he put out previously that I've also reviewed before and talked about. And this feels like a more expanded version of that sound. It's a lot more refined also. And I'm really eager to watch Vince Staples continue to grow as an artist. I've been a fan for a long time, and I'm just really excited to see where he continues to move forward, what he ends up putting out next. And yeah, that just sums up all my thoughts. If you have not listened to Vince Staples before, this is definitely an album that you're going to want to check out, just because it's very calm. It's a lot of really good vibes on the whole project as a whole, and I think you should take the time to go back and listen to older music of his. A lot of the themes present in his music are permeating throughout every single project of his. So he revisits a lot of similar themes, but every time he comes back with a new perspective since he's growing over the years. So I do recommend that. And if you have sat here and taken the time to listen to me talk about Vince Staples and Ramona Park Broke My Heart, I really do appreciate that, and I want to thank you for doing that. You don't have to, but here we are. And if you have music that you would like to share with somebody, do not be shy. You can send that my way. I will find the time to listen to it. And if you want my thoughts on it, just let me know. I'm always happy to give feedback on music that is sent to me. And with all that being said, thank you. Appreciate it. And I hope that you have a very wonderful day.